This channel, a systematic teaching, enables you to awaken and end suffering and reincarnation. Please find the playlist in the description. Mahayana Pure Land welcomes you. Understanding Reincarnation to End Reincarnation. The Scientific Study on Reincarnation and More. Part 13. We have briefly introduced Dr. Brian Weiss in Part 10 and 11, but since his work has significantly impacted people around the world, it is necessary that we delve deeper into his background and works. From a skeptic to an expert, Dr. Brian Weiss. Dr. Brian Weiss said, "I have come a long way from that fateful day when I, a classically trained physician, professor of psychiatry and confirmed skeptic, realized that human life is grander and more profound than even my rigorous medical training had led me to believe." Educated as an academic, he received his undergraduate degree from Columbia University and his PhD from the Yale University School of Medicine, where he was also the chief resident in psychiatry. He has been on the teaching faculties of several university medical schools, and for more than a decade he served as chairman of the Department of Psychiatry at Mount Sinai Medical Center in Miami Beach, Florida. By the time he first met Catherine, the patient whose story is told in his first book, Many Lives, Many Masters, he had published more than 40 scientific papers and books, and had achieved international recognition in the fields of psychopharmacology and brain chemistry. Not surprisingly, he was completely skeptical of unscientific fields such as parapsychology. He knew nothing about the concept of past lives or reincarnation, nor did he want to. And then came a sudden and shocking introduction to the spiritual world. Catherine inexplicably began recalling what seemed to be past life memories. Somehow, all of her clinical symptoms improved via this regression process. He was amazed and also began to find the harmony between science and intuition. The turning point making Dr. Weiss believe in reincarnation. Dr. Weiss stated that this process began from 1980, more than 4 decades ago. Since then, he has regressed thousands of patients to perinatal, in utero, or past life memories. He said, "I became the unofficial dean of reincarnation, and I welcome this characterization because I believe we do reincarnate until we learn our lessons and graduate." Dr. Weiss also expressed his gratitude, saying he is extremely grateful that Catherine came into his office on that fateful day and opened his mind to the concept of past lives, as this became the avenue to his personal awakening and led him to spiritual growth and understanding. He recalled that one day during the process of Catherine's hypnosis treatment, his office was very cold, icy cold. Out of the blue, Catherine said,
"There are 2 people here to see you, your father and your son."
At that time, she was in a deep hypnotic state, floating there between 2 lifetimes. He pointed out that Catherine didn't know anything about him. He didn't even have diplomas hanging in his office, and that was before we could Google our doctors, yet she was telling Dr. Weiss,
"Your father and your son are here."
He said, "She didn't know anything about my father, but she told me that my daughter is named after my father. My father's English name was Alvin, and his Hebrew name was Avram." Catherine didn't know this. She is a Catholic woman from New England. But at that time she was telling me, "Your father is here. He died from his heart. His heart was important. Your daughter is named after him." Then she went into other medical details. Dr. Weiss's father died in New Jersey a year and a half before he began the treatment with Catherine, around 1981. It was the time right before his daughter Amy was born. He was stunned when he heard Catherine say that Amy was named after his father. The room was still feeling icy cold. Dr. Weiss was thinking, "What is this? How does she know this?"
His father's death was not written down because there was no obituary. Even if there was an obituary, it was before the internet. There was no place to look it up. Yet Catherine said,
Your son is with him. He is very tiny, shining brightly, and his heart is important also because it's turned around backwards.
Then she went into the medical details of why he died. That was the first child of Dr. Weiss. He died in 1971. Catherine was telling Dr. Weiss about his deceased son and the very rare congenital heart deformity. She was describing it and giving him other details. Dr. Weiss said, Our relatives didn't know. Our best friends didn't know. You can't look that up, can't Google it. And that was the epiphany for me. After a year and a half of therapy for Catherine, Dr. Weiss remembered thinking, if she's right about these things about my father and my son, could it also be about past lives and reincarnation and life after death and the existence of the soul and all of us getting reunited again and again and again? And that was the moment when it just all shifted for me for good. Dr. Weiss remembered that he resisted accepting the concept of the spiritual world from the intellectual aspect before that time. But now it was personal. Catherine knew his father, his son, and she was getting messages from masters. More amazingly, Catherine's psychological barriers had disappeared. Imagination doesn't heal and cure symptoms, Dr. Weiss believed. He asked her, Where are you getting this from? She described,
I was listening, responding to spiritual beings.
She called them masters, master spirits who were telling her these things. And then Dr. Weiss told himself, Wow, my whole universal order, my whole world was upside down. Because now I was learning about dimensions in heaven and master spirits and angels and God, and I realized this life would never be the same again. Affirmed by professional peers. When his book Many Lives, Many Masters was completed, Dr. Weiss hesitated to publish it. Why? Because although he had seen many instances where patients appeared to remember their past lives, no scientific research had proved reincarnation at that time. It was the 1980s and such studies were relatively scarce. Dr. Weiss was already a well-known scholar and held a certain position in academic circles. He was afraid that it would affect his career if he published this book, which contradicted traditional scientific concepts. It was not easy for him to decide. However, based on his scientific attitude of seeking the truth through actual experiences, he decided to proceed. This scientist is really remarkable, encouraged by the spirit of 16th century Italian astronomer and physicist Galileo Galilei. He devoted himself spiritually to science in the end. To his surprise, after his book was published, his career was not diminished and his fame grew greater. Many Lives, Many Masters ranked as the top-selling book for 2 consecutive years in the United States. It has been translated into many languages and is popular all around the world. Dr. Weiss also received letters from many readers and from his peers. When he received letters from professionals in his own field, his heart was trembling. Would they criticize me, saying I am anti-science? To his amazement, these professional psychiatrists not only congratulated him on his book publication, but told him they had made similar scientific discoveries which they did not dare to release. They were happy to find out that someone else had written about reincarnation, and they congratulated him. Ever since, Dr. Weiss has become known as the scientific authority in the field of reincarnation. He stated that we are all rowing the same boat, and there are ominous storms on the horizon. Violence and short-sightedness seem to dominate our world. We need to row in harmony, to renounce hatred, anger, fear, and pride. We need to have the courage to do the right thing. We need to love and respect one another, to see and appreciate the innate beauty and dignity of everyone, because we are all souls, all of the same substance. Only by rowing together as one crew can we avoid the storms and find our way home. What a beautiful expression from this extraordinary scientist. Let us all row together to find our way home to the blissful Pure Land. In the next part, through some intriguing hypnotic cases, we will discuss interesting topics such as, is our reincarnation only limited to Earth? Why are most of our habits influenced by past lives? Thanks for watching. See you soon on part 14.
南无阿弥陀佛。